Hi, and welcome to Enchantment of Eternity's quick review for Vikings Season 1 through 3. This video is a part of a series of videos I'm doing where I do a quick, spoiler-free review on a TV show currently airing on television. These reviews are intended mostly for those who haven't seen the show and are trying to decide whether or not to watch it, but also can be viewed by those who have seen the show as they would know more of what I'm talking about. This video is for the show Vikings, which is up to its third season. Vikings was a show I was kind of skeptical about, as I heard distant rumblings that it might be good, and some people even compared it to Game of Thrones, but no one I knew personally had watched it, so I didn't know what to expect coming in. The first set of episodes weren't very impressive, and it seems like it may be a simplistic and cliched TV show without much originality. However, the show improved significantly as it went on. It never achieved in anywhere near the greatness that the show like Game of Thrones has, but it became a unique tale that was definitely worth watching. The thing about Vikings that I really liked is that it isn't a simplistic story of good versus evil, and all the characters involved are more complex and realistic than that, and in that manner is more like Game of Thrones. There are no heroes and villains, there are simply viewpoint characters that you identify with more because you follow their lives, but they are by no means the good guys, as they are capable of performing acts of questionable morality, as the show follows a group of Vikings best known for raping and pillaging, and indeed many times the quote-unquote heroes of the show would raid and pillage other places, killing innocents and stealing from them. Vikings never really had a singular story I was deeply invested in, rather told a series of stories involving characters I wanted to see more of. Sometimes the show moved at a too slow of a pace where I started to lose interest. It didn't demand my attention and make me long to see the next episode, as many great TV shows would, but it was good enough to keep me watching and would reward me for my continued viewership with good stories every once in a while. I wasn't all that impressed with the first season, as the typical bad guy seemed too typical and was being a dick to the main character Ragnar Lothbrok a bit too much, and it got a bit tiresome after a while, but it was still really interesting and told some good stories. But I didn't have all that high of an opinion of the show until season 2, which is where for me the show really started to get good. In season 2, Vikings managed to do something that many other TV shows failed to do, that is to suddenly leap in time and actually make it work. I complained when Battlestar Galactica suddenly jumped a year into the future, and when Lost suddenly jumped 3 years into the future. I complained that it serves to disconnect audiences from the characters that they're connected to. However, when Vikings jumped almost 10 years into the future, I actually thought it worked really well. Not only did it not disconnect me from the characters, it actually made me even more interested in what was going on, so I applaud the show for actually making that work. And season 2 only got better from there, building up to a truly exciting finale, so it's fair to say season 2 is what really got me into the show. Season 3 is good as well. It kept me interested with good quality storytelling. However, it wasn't as good as season 2, as it meandered a bit and split off into multiple storylines. In fact, I was more interested in what was going on in England while all the Vikings were in Paris, and I wasn't all that invested in the Paris storyline, to be honest. Just wanted to see them go back to England. But ultimately, it seemed most of season 3 was just a setup for season 4, so I'll be curious to see where they take it from here. The show does focus a bit too much on religion for my liking, although I understand it was central to life in that time period depicted, so to not focus on it would be inaccurate. However, I still feel that they don't need to focus on it as much as they do, and also some of the supernatural elements in it, which I don't particularly care for, seem to be a bit out of place in a historical drama. However, the one thing that annoys me the most about the show is how repeatedly people have a vendetta against the main character Ragnar Lothbrok and seem to want to kill him even when it doesn't really make any sense. It becomes a storyline that gets used and reused and repeated over and over again, and it starts to become tiresome. For example, when this one dude is treated like shit by King Horik, he gets all pissed off and is like, I am so pissed off at King Horik, so I'm going to kill Ragnar Lothbrok. I'm just like, what? It just becomes old. I'm going to kill, dun dun dun, Ragnar Lothbrok. However, they did kind of back down from this in Season 3, so hopefully they're moving beyond it. So my rating for Vikings Seasons 1 through 3 is a 7, very good. Great cinematography, acting, and music added to interesting characters that make the show worth watching, and as I said, it gets much better in its second season. However, it never really acquires greatness, but is definitely worth watching. So as to the questions, will I watch the next season? The answer most certainly is yes. I want to follow up with the mini storylines set up in Season 3, and I have high hopes that the show may get even more interesting from here. So that's it for my quick review on Vikings. Be sure to come back here every Monday for a new quick review on a show currently airing, and make sure you subscribe so you can keep up with all that. And thanks a lot for watching.